Welcome to the channel, and today we'll be breaking down one of Eminem's best songs ever, Sing for the Moment. Hello again, welcome to 2019, and what better way to start the year than to break down one of Eminem's best songs ever, Sing for the Moment. This song is often included in many lists of Eminem's top 10 best songs ever, and some even consider it to be Eminem's best song, and if you believe that, I've got no reason to argue with you since I also believe it's right up there with the best. Today we'll be taking the lyrics apart to reveal some meanings and facts behind the lyrics, and if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications for more content like this in the future. Sing for the Moment interpolates Dream On by Aerosmith, and Eminem generally addresses issues like his effect on the youth. And the first line of Eminem's first verse sets it up.
These ideas are nightmares to white parents whose worst fear is a child with dyed hair and who likes earrings.
The fact that Eminem says white parents says a lot, since the race that were very vocal about his negative impact on the youth were often white parents. Eminem was viewed by many of these white parents as a white popular icon that encouraged white kids to adopt the perceived black gangster lifestyle. Eminem even takes a dig at these parents by stating that their worst fear is a child with dyed hair and earrings. You must be living a life of privilege if your worst fear about your kid is that they try to look like a pop icon with bleached hair and earrings. Some parents think they are able to control the entire lives of their kids, but finally these kids listen to music of their choice as soon as they have the chance, regardless of how strict their parents may be.
It's so scary in a house that allows no swearing to see him walking around with his headphones blaring.
And of course, in strict households like the one Eminem describes, a parent could have a heart attack in their picket-fenced home when they see their kid blasting music they believe is by a white guy glorifying black gangster music. Many Eminem fans will tell you how his music made them get through tough times when they felt alone, and even in my comment section I see many of these comments, and Eminem even touches on this scenario that accurately describes many of his fans today.
Alone in his own zone, cold and he don't care, he's a problem child.
I can't speak for everyone, but it's safe to say that mistreated adolescents make up a huge percentage of Eminem fans, who were often secluded and went through maximum security parenting, and Eminem's music was an outlet for these younger fans. However, many of their parents assumed that it was the music that they listened to that was responsible for their changing behavior, when in reality, their living conditions made them to seek music from artists like Eminem to find an escape. Eminem finally states where the real problem affecting the kid he's describing stems from.
What bothers him all comes out when he talks about his fucking dad walking out.
Kids act out mostly because of deep-rooted issues, and Eminem pretty much states the cause of the problems, and this goes deeper than just hip-hop music. An absent father puts children at a huge disadvantage in life, and the findings of various research on this is filled with negative outcomes as a result of an absent parent. Eminem is also pretty much describing his childhood here, since his father abandoned him when he was a few months old, and his upbringing was terrible. The fact that Eminem often speaks about his terrible upbringing and absent father is already a solid reason for millions of kids to relate to his music, in the Western world especially.
His thoughts are whacked, he's mad so he's talking back, talking black, brainwashed from rock and rap.
It is often easier to blame music, but for the most part, music choice is an after the fact to deep-rooted issues, and rock and rap at the end of that bar is stated because these music genres were often criticized as having a negative influence on the youth. At first, especially with Elvis Presley, where his dance moves were blamed for making kids more promiscuous, and rap blamed for influencing kids to swear and rebel, when in reality, these were all modes of escape. The verse ends with hell breaking loose since the kid never really felt at home.
His house is a broken home, there's no control, he just lets his emotions go.
And the obedient kid has now rebelled, going as far as returning a hit to his stepfather. This is an indirect reference to Eminem's conditions growing up with a stepfather, and conditions like this are more common than you think, and several research findings support that children living in homes with step-parents or living partners are multiple times more likely to experience abuse or neglect. At this time, hip-hop started changing, and street gangster rap that was initially very much different from mainstream hip-hop started to converge at this point.
Entertainment is changing, intertwining with gangsters.
Remember, and even 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying was just around the corner to take hip-hop by storm. As you'd expect, with gangster rap becoming the dominant hip-hop in the mainstream, hip-hop was bound to have an influence on the youth, and even suburban kids started dressing up like their hip-hop icons. But with the rise of gang lifestyle in the mainstream, Eminem doesn't claim to be innocent, but at least sees himself as the lesser of two evils.
In the land of the killers, a sinner's mind is a sanctum. Holy or unholy, only have one homie, only this gun.
Eminem has rapped about many sensitive topics, used words that many find offensive, and even has had his fair share of legal troubles. But he's never been part of a gangbanging lifestyle, so of course, a sinner's mind is evil and dark, but nothing compared to that of a killer. But even Eminem had to finally arm himself. The genre started getting dominated by alleged gangbangers, and regardless of how you felt about owning firearms, it was essential at this point, and even Eminem was reluctant at first, but had to arm himself and even wear armor. Jay-Z even spoke about this in Decoded, where he said he felt Eminem's body armor after he hugged him when they met in a studio at one time. Despite having millions of fans who feel like they can relate to his music, Eminem still feels loneliness, which you could describe like the boy in the bubble. Eminem also touched on this in Say Goodbye Hollywood. He speaks about his life a lot in his music, and many fans can relate to this, but not to him as a person, so fans don't really know what he's going through despite thinking otherwise. In the next bars, Eminem talks about the effect of his music on listeners. It kind of implies that words have an influence on listeners, but interpretation depends on the listener. For many outsiders who can't relate to his music, it's all gonna be offensive and hateful, but for the fans that many believe to be influenced negatively, these words are a source of inspiration.
I guess words are a motherfucker. They can be great, or they can degrade, or even worse, they can teach hate.
Eminem admits that it's beginning to feel like they worship him, and this is certainly the case even to this day. But when your message begins to sound prophetic, of course you're gonna have such hardcore fans who now look to you like a god.
Like they worship us, plus all the store ship us platinum.
And with record sales around the world, this was only going to increase, and even in 2018, Eminem at over 20 years in, still outsold other rappers at their prime in 2018. Our next video is going to be a review of Eminem's 2018, so be sure to subscribe. Eminem went from working dead-end jobs and rapping on the streets with his best friend Proof back in the days to now the biggest rapper in the world, but the new enemies were now the critics and plastic fans.
Then these critics crucify you, journalists try to burn you, fans turn on you, attorneys all wanna turn it to get their hands on every dime you have.
He's got all the success, but now he's also got a huge target for people seeking a meal ticket, and Fans Turn On You in that bar is also a play on how electric oscillating fans work. When they turn on you, you feel the air. While everyone from lawyers to media personalities were trying to get Eminem out of character.
But all they kids be listening to me religiously, so I'm signing CDs while police fingerprint me.
His fan base was still growing exponentially, and Eminem in an interview with Rolling Stone admits that while getting booked at a police station at one time, the cops were asking for his autograph. And Eminem in the next bar suggests that while the judge wants to put him behind bars, the judge got an autograph for his daughter. And this reveals the generational gap. The judge thinks he's a bad influence on his daughter, while the daughter worships him. Eminem ends it by stating that if he was so bad, how is he able to properly raise his children? And Guerrero, mentioned at the end of the verse, is actually a bouncer named Guerrero that claimed Eminem pistol whipped him, but Eminem claims it was a fist, and Eminem was forced to pay him $100,000 to settle the lawsuit. The final verse starts with Eminem talking about how it's quite ironic that his music is blamed for criminal behavior.
They say music can alter moves and talk to you. Well, can it load a gun up for you and cock it too?
Of course, this is ridiculous. It's like claiming horror movies make people become serial killers. And if this is your defense for killing someone, don't expect the producers and actors to serve time with you in prison. Eminem even goes further to explain that the guns they get is for protection and not for the fun of it. And remember, Eminem can only speak for himself here, not for other rappers known to wave guns for the fun of it. Eminem has also come under fire for using certain words so freely, but these words people claim are so offensive were used freely in the environment Eminem grew up in, which has an influence on the music he produces.
You ignoramus, but music is reflection of self. We just explain it, and then we get our checks in the mail.
And through it all, Eminem moved from someone who couldn't afford to buy his daughter a gift for Christmas to someone now able to afford it all, and his music now serves as an influence for the next generation.
That's why we sing for these kids who don't have a thing, except for a dream and a fucking rap magazine.
Eminem's music is seen as a way to escape for many troubled kids, and this goes far beyond just rap music. For someone told he would never amount to anything in life while growing up, Eminem's music will be quite relatable on the journey to make something out of nothing regardless of career paths. And critics may see his music as offensive, but to these kids, Eminem is a beacon of hope. Eminem is aware that his time on top of the rap game is precious, and helping kids going through struggles like he did is one of his main drives to continue to put out music.
That's why we seize the moment, try to freeze it and own it, squeeze it and hold it, as we consider these minutes golden.
And Eminem ends the verse by stating that all this negativity surrounding his music may change when it's all said and done, but regardless, their spirits will live on through their lyrics. Icons like Kurt Cobain, Tupac, Jimi Hendrix, and B.I.G. were all viewed negatively until after their death, and now they are praised as legends of music that were ahead of their time and celebrated by the media.
And maybe they'll admit it when we're gone, just let our spirits live on through our lyrics that you hear in our songs.
But we as fans know better, and we won't wait for Eminem to pass before we appreciate his music. Sing for the Moment is a timeless song that ages like fine wine and increases in relevance, and even Eminem fans born in the 21st century still consider Sing for the Moment to be one of his best songs. And if you'd like to support the channel, consider donating to our PayPal at the link in the description. Leave your thoughts about this in the comments section. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and check out other Eminem lyrics breakdowns at the link that pops up now. Thank you.